Good morning, good morning. Happy to be with you again. It's been a minute. As you know, we all have our personal issues we have to deal with. I had to do a personal move. You know, I take the show every other week. And so it's been a 3-week hiatus since I have not seen you guys. So I'm happy to be back, my YouTube family. I got a great show in store for you. I got a legend here today with me. I generally do the show where I go over my HBCU news and then I bring the guest in. But since this guest is special, he's not only going to be a guest and talk about himself, but he's going to also discuss the things I do in the beginning. So I won't be discussing them by myself today. I'll have this gentleman also discussing the topics from HBCU and everything else.
I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Rose Gold Lux Spa, Womack Development Company and Realtor, and Morgan & Associates Dental.
As I've started here lately, I want to give a shout out to someone special, as I always do. We got a guy, we want to say, glad that Larry Chatterbox Hale has been released from hospital from his illness. Oliver Gregg, that played baseball with me at Texas Southern. Cecil Johnson, that played baseball with me at Texas Southern. These are all people that are dealing with health issues. I want to give them my blessing and hope that they get better every day. So without further ado, we're going to jump right off into the show today because as I told you, I'm going to go over the HBCU news as I always do, but I'm going to bring this gentleman in. And without further ado, what I'm going to do is introduce to you the legend, Ralph Cooper. I think, Ralph, aren't you one of the few black guys in the state of Texas to have a radio show?
Yes, I am. And I've been blessed. And thank you for the accolades and etc. But yes, I've been blessed.
Oh, man, yeah. You've been doing this since I know.
Yeah.
And this gentleman is a native Houstonian. He went to PV first, but he found his way home to TSU at some point. You did say you attended TSU also.
I've attended both. And Houston Community College also. And U of H downtown.
Okay, but you just made it right.
Yeah,
only one you got left is Rice.
Probably so. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to Rice.
Yes.
Okay, Ralph, as I generally do, I go over my HBCU news.
Right.
And I'm going to do that today, but also I'm going to pull you in to get your point of view on the topic.
No problem.
First of all, before we get started, Ralph, tell us how you got started in the radio and sportscasting business.
Thanks to the Forward Times newspaper, and also thanks to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali's draft case was here, and what I would do in between going to school and working jobs, I would go to the federal building every day to the draft case, and I noticed one thing that was happening. There were very few, if any, black reporters there. Okay. And that was one of the things that inspired me. And then at the Forward Times, they ran an ad in the newspaper one day. They were looking for writers. So I was interviewed by the late Julius Carter, the founder of the paper, the two editors, Barry Shields and Sonny Wells. And they asked me when I told them I wanted to do sports. They said, nope. They made a very good choice when they sent me to the courts and to the jails. I interviewed people who had committed crimes. I saw cases, and I learned quite a bit about the judicial system.
Excuse me, but how did one of those days start? You going to the jail to interview people? Just give us how that would start.
It would start by, say it's 9 o'clock. I go down at 9 o'clock, and I just pick a courtroom. I go to the various courtrooms, and as I started doing that, and the people saw my bylines in the paper, believe it or not, the detectives would start calling me. I had, sad to say, there was a rape case one time where 6 or 7 young guys who were, at that time, they were from about 16 or 15 to about 20. And they were involved in this rape case. And the detectives called me down and said I could interview them. They didn't have these laws like they do now. Right. And these guys let me interview them, and they admitted they had raped these women. Wow. Next thing I knew, my tapes were subpoenaed. I didn't know.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they
knew what they were doing.
Right. So, you learn that way. And like I said, I couldn't do sports because they had all these great sports writers at the Forward Times, Joe Boca, Bud Johnson, Donald Dixon, and all these kind of people, Seaboy Vaughn. And so finally, they told me I could do sports. I could have the junior high schools, and nobody wanted to go to the Astro games, believe it or not.
Right.
But I went to the Astro games, and as a result of going to the Astro games, I realized you could interview anybody you want. If you ask Willie Mays,
Yes.
Roberto Clemente, Hank Aaron, all back in their prime, Willie Stargell, all these Bob Gibson, all these great players back in the day when they were in their prime.
Listening audience, I want you to just wait for a second and let that marinate in your brain. Older people like myself. This gentleman had an opportunity to meet Hall of Famers. Everyone he called off was a Hall of Famer. He had the opportunity to meet them when they were young.
And then you had to cut some of them off. Ernie Banks, you had to cut. He was just like he made that comment about let's play two games.
Right.
You had to cut him off the tape.
What?
He's still talking.
Still talking.
Yeah. Like I say, so many. You think back, so many great players. Even Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker in 1972 when he first came up, had a chance to interview him, and the reason was because he had so many relatives. His relatives, some had grew up with me out in the Sunnyside area, Warwick High School.
Okay.
And they said, you need to go interview Johnny B. That was his name.
Johnny B. They called him Johnny B.
So sure enough,
Well, that's his name. Dusty is a nickname.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dusty's a
Johnny B.
nickname.
Baker. He's named after his father. Johnny
Okay.
B. Baker the second, I think. What it is. Yeah. So that's how it all started.
Man, you said you wouldn't have nobody wanted to go because here's a story I heard once after I got to Houston, and that is that the mosquitoes would lift you up in Buffalo. Is it Buffalo Stadium?
No, it was Colt Stadium.
Colt Stadium
was right next to.
Because we came.
Yeah, we came. Colt Stadium was next to where the dome is, where the NRG arena is now.
Mm-hmm.
Colt Stadium was kind of right in that area, and they put it up while they built the Astrodome.
Wow.
See, the team started in '62 in Colt 45, but the Astrodome opened in '65, and it became the Astros when they opened it up. But yes, people would faint. There was nothing out there. Remember, there was nothing. They cleared the area.
Yeah.
They had hunted there at one time.
I'm from Waco, which
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and we came to YMCA, did a bus ride to come out to see the Astrodome as it was being built. But we went to Colt 45 Stadium, and you could see the gigantic Astrodome sitting over to the side. And we came over to view the game because I was playing. Our baseball team came,
Yes.
and it was smoking hot.
Right.
But it was smoking
Right.
hot.
That's why they changed it later on to where they could play the games at night here,
Right.
because there were so many people fainting and mosquitoes and et cetera out there. But when they first built the Astrodome, see, the Astrodome also played a role in who Ralph Cooper became also, because without the Astrodome, you don't have the Ali fights here.
Right.
You don't have the rodeos, et cetera. You don't have any of that kind of stuff here. So when they first started building the Astrodome, when Colt Stadium was there, some of my friends, we had cars and we would drive over there to see how the dome was coming along.
Right.
And for the longest, it was just a big hole in the ground. And when it rained, it would be like a big lake.
Uh-huh.
And we said, man, these white folks took everybody. How they gonna build a stadium with an air-conditioned stadium?
It was truly amazing.
And then when that iron started coming up out of there,
You could see.
it changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then you're talking to a kid who, as a kid, about 4 or 5 of us skip school early and go out to the dome the first day when they opened it up. The tickets are all gone. You can't buy a ticket. So we were looking for a way to get into the Astrodome. So finally we found out that we decided to become vendors, hot dogs, popcorn, etc. They would let you in. So that's what we did. And at the third inning, the money was real good. Now I made $30 in about 2 hours selling hot dogs.
Wow.
But I retired. Selling hot dogs.
And then you started. Then you would ease and do the recording later, or what?
No, I turned my hot dog stand can or container in and looked for a seat.
Okay.
I had $30, stuffed my pockets full of hot dogs, and found a seat up in the yellow section and watched the baseball game. That's how I got in there free. Yeah.
You're one of the few guys that I know that still have a burning passion for baseball.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to instill that in a lot of black fathers that I meet, that they want their kids football and basketball. Nothing's wrong with that, but I be trying to tell them that, look at baseball.
Yeah.
Look at baseball. Get them into baseball.
Right. And so you look at the money is guaranteed
Mm-hmm.
in baseball, but see, And at one time it was baseball. Baseball was the sport.
When you and I were coming up, baseball was the sport.
Basketball was third on the list.
Third on the list, right.
And track and field, etc. But you try to get them interested, and you listen to what they say. They say that people don't come to the games. I'm talking about the fan. I'm talking about the players now.
Right.
The fans, they say that people don't attend the games. They're out there by the end. Then it's long and it's hot and it's boring.
Right.
So, but then you tell them, look at the money that they make.
Right.
And how long you can play.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And not be broke up.
And not be broke up.
Like I am.
Right. If Bo Jackson had kept playing baseball instead of football, think about how great he would have been.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
See what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, we did not go off into the HBCU news. We went off, and this is why I wanted this guy to chime in, because he's a sportscaster also. Let me correct that. I'm a podcaster. He's a sportscaster. Okay. Ralph, I'm going to go off into my HBCU stuff, and I want you to jump in when we start going.
Go ahead.
I just realized today I saw that Hugh Evans,
Yes.
the basketball official that officiated NBA games for
years. Decades, yeah.
he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Deserving.
That's very deserving.
I can remember when he first came up.
Right.
And he became a great one.
Yeah. And the reason why I brought him up on the HBCU news family is because he attended North Carolina A&T. He not only attended there, but he played basketball at North Carolina A&T. And back then, you had demonstrative, or how can I say, lively referees. I can remember Mindy Rudolph, a guy getting fouled, him jumping and hollering, two, and then getting the one.
Right.
Now they just call a foul, but it was much more exciting when they would just be animated when they were doing it.
Right.
What you think?
Same, and see, you had some great black officials who officiated black games. Byron Tiny Johnson, back in the day. Coach Freddie Morrow was another one.
Right.
And Frankie Brazos, all those guys. And then you had Andrew Wiley. These guys were just, and then the Spencer brothers. They rose to the NFL. They went from the black colleges all the way up to the NFL.
You ever meet Hugh Evans?
Yes, yeah. And
Nice guy, look like. It's
right,
on TV,
right,
and I didn't even meet him. Just like on TV.
Right.
Now, moving on, FAMU, Florida A&M University, I just found out that a report came out that they could be in trouble with the NCAA with their APR. And what that is, family, is academic progress report. And for 2023. And the same thing happened in 19. And so it's getting ready to happen again. And the strange thing about it is that FAMU has a reputation for academics. For some type of reason, the football team seems to stay in trouble. And Coach Simmons, he's a tremendous coach, as I've been saying since last year when I started this show. I got he and Dion at the top. Coach Simmons is tremendous. And but I don't know what's happening, how that is occurring. What do you think they can do to adjust that, Ralph, and everything else? Matter of fact, I read a note that said the basketball team, since the new coach came in 2019, every one of his players has graduated.
Yeah. I think you just have to put the right people in the right places in regards to compliance, APR, etc. The athletic director stepped down there, as you stated, recently. So they've got to make the right choice. I mean, you've got real good coaches, and I agree with you about Coach Willie Simmons. He's a great coach. I remember when he was at Purdue, he got the job, and how he really didn't want to leave here, but he had to go back to Florida, Florida A&M.
That's his own town.
Yeah, but I think they're going to get it right.
Yeah.
And especially in this age of where the HBCUs are right now.
Yeah, because that's mind-boggling, because I'm trying to see how can because most schools now have academic advisors and people that oversee that if I'm slow or not slow, how can I say, if I need help, they got it lined up for me.
The counselors to talk
to. Right. So I'm shocked how FAMU has been that happen.
And then you got people tutoring, people who tutor the people there.
Right.
So hopefully they put the right people in place.
I'm shocked at trying to see how that's happening. I got another question for you. I just found out, here's another thing, if ever you watch my show, I've told these viewers, coaches, and anyone that would listen, don't get mad at Coach Prime because he's getting a lot of shine. Actually, take advantage of the shine that Coach Prime brings to the SWAC. Right. Every time they mention Jackson State, aren't we in the SWAC? So they're bringing shine to us. You just got to do your job.
Right.
And with that, what I'm bringing that up for you, Jackson State makes Sports Illustrated cover. Coach Prime, Travis Hunter, and Shadua. What do you think about that?
I think that's great. And Coach Prime reminds me, I know something, and I'm not talking about putting him up on Rushmore,
Right.
but he reminds me of Eddie Robinson, because
Right.
Eddie Robinson, although he was always talking Grambling
Right.
and talking America, he was also always talking about the other schools.
Right.
He was always pushing the other schools. He wanted Texas Southern to play better. Southern, all of them to play better. Until they played him, of course.
Right.
but he was always pushing them. And I see that in Coach Brown, Coach Deion Sanders. He's always trying to help the others. He's taking it to another level. And to be honest with you, in 2022, if you don't want to go to the next level, maybe you need to go look for something else to do. If you don't want, if you got one of these, if you hold one of these positions,
That's right.
and you don't want to emulate or try to do what he's doing or do even be better, maybe you need to find another
The
job.
time is right, Ralph. I feel the time is right. Everything Deion does is right for us.
Right.
It's like Coach Prime is getting shine for a certain thing, but you know what? He went right over the Mississippi Valley. That's another young coach I forgot to bring up.
I forgot his name, but that's another.
That's another young coach.
But
That
you
guy
know, offering to help, Deion went over trying
went
to
over
help
there and said, "We're gonna get you a field."
Right.
He didn't say we're gonna help you.
No,
and you know what? I bet you get him a practice field.
Right.
If they don't already have it, they
Right.
might already have it.
Right.
And that's why I say don't be getting mad at Coach Prime. I mean, jump on the bandwagon, you know.
And you see the other thing he's doing, he's like the young man you have filming your podcast. He's got a lot of these youngsters around.
Right.
See, it's great to remember where we came from and to help and help the people around us that we grew up with, but they don't want to move.
Right.
If they want to remain in 1960 or 1980 or 2000, you got to go get the youngsters.
You gotta go get the youngsters.
And don't be ashamed to say you can't learn from it.
Right.
Because I didn't know nothing about social media until about a 20-year-old lady and a 21-year-old young man talking.
Taught you how to do it.
Taught me how to do it.
And it's meant the world to you.
Amanda Garrett and Isaiah Thornton. Yeah.
I put money on this, Ralph, and that is that he came in guns blazing because he was on that social media talking about I want some dogs. I said, you coaches got to understand what Coach Prime is doing. He know what works.
Right. And that's what they are.
I have to get on they own the social media, get on there.
Right.
And every one of his recruits, they be blasted out.
Right.
Hey, going to the university of such and such.
Right. Right.
That's Coach Prime.
Right.
That's Coach Prime. All right, moving on. We got we just had the NCAA track.
Right.
And I'm still folks in my HBCU mode, so don't worry. North Carolina A&T track,
Right.
which I sent last year a shout out to Coach Ross
Right.
via social media, letting
Right.
him know, man,
Right.
you made us all proud, even here in Houston, Texas.
That's how you contact
Yeah.
Also.
And gotta respond. And gotta respond.
Right.
Like I said, man, you making us all proud. I'm sending you HBCU love all the way from Houston, Texas.
Right.
And hitting me back. But I hate this, but I understand this. You know, Coach Ross is moving on, right?
Right.
University of Tennessee.
Right.
You can't be mad at him.
No, but you see what happened. Okay, Florida won the NCAA,
Yeah.
the men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Coach is black.
Right.
And then you had one of the others, Kentucky.
Right.
With the, there was a saying at one time, white people couldn't run.
Right.
Abby Steiner
Yeah.
is proving they can.
They
Right.
can prove they
In
can.
2022. But the coach is black.
Coach
Coach
is
Green
black.
is that. Yeah, see, so, I don't think anybody is as black as you and I.
Right.
But we have to realize that during these times, if you want to compete, the black schools have to pay people too. You gotta find some money somewhere.
You
You gotta
gotta
step
find
it up.
You gotta find it.
Yeah, you gotta find the money to
Yeah.
keep your people.
And on that note, Ralph, I wasn't aware that the coach had because I was looking at Kentucky last night. What's Kentucky and where did they come from? And you're right. I looked it up. It was a black coach.
Yeah.
This is how things just changed with a
Right.
black coach.
Right.
And that's what Deion was saying when Saban accused him of paying Hunter. He said, I don't have to pay my people to come be with our people.
Right.
he said, you got to do that. He said, I don't have to pay my people to come be with my people.
Right. Right.
But anyway, he was making $232,000 at North Carolina A&T.
Right.
And the clip that I read was like, The guy said, I wouldn't even know where that guy. You could make that kind of money at a black college as a track. But the guy also said at the bottom, he had earned every penny with the shine he bought at Carolina. Everybody knows North Carolina A&T now.
And especially the young people.
Young people
wearing the gear.
Right.
You see them around here?
Yeah. Everybody knows North Carolina A&T.
Right.
But they had 3 All-Americans to come out of the NCAA. They had a Grace Nwokocha in the 100 and 200 meters, Paula Simon in the 100 meter, and quite naturally we had his son, 400 meter champ. He could turn pro now. He actually could have turned pro last year.
Right.
And I'm thinking, what you think, Ralph? If you think when his dad went to Tennessee, he might turn pro this year?
Yes.
I think so too.
But now the other big question is, what happens with North Carolina A&T now? That's a great job for somebody.
Yes, it is. It's already set up for you.
Right. So who gets that job? And I'm waiting to see how they play that out.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm with you on his son. His son has nothing else to prove at North Carolina A&T. It's time for him to get paid.
Right.
It's time for him to get paid.
Right.
Howard University, another HBCU, had an All-American Jessica Wright in the 400 meter hurdles.
Right.
Let me put a little footnote on that. Last year, Prairie View's female made All-American on the 400 meter hurdles. I can't remember her name now.
Right.
I remember she was the All-American in that. His salary is expected to be at University of Tennessee anywhere from $450,000 to $500,000 a year.
Right.
And it's a 5-year contract. You got to go. So even if they fire you after 5 years, you're going to make $2.5 million.
Right.
You set for life.
Right.
You got to go. Because this man, even if he gets fired after 5 years, he'd have made almost $3 million. He has to go.
And I don't know if I'm correct me. I don't think he's 50 years old.
No.
And he's got 17, 18 years.
Yeah. And if he fails there, he can go right on back to the black college. I know one college right now would take it. Over there on Willard Avenue.
You got some white colleges that'll reach out for him.
He'll never go to another HBCU. Well, not because he wouldn't want to, but because they're not going to let him come. There you go, Ralph. There you go. Going to further on, we got, what do you think about NIL? Hampton University just had a guy sign with WWE, and Deion's son is with Gatorade.
And Tom Brady.
And Tom Brady.
Everybody forgets about the Brady deal.
Yeah, and Andrew Body just signed a little small one with a chicken. I don't know if, I'm not trying to get Texas Southern in trouble, but somebody needs to get this kid an NIL. You got 4 or 5 good companies that represent Texas Southern every turn. French's, A1 Rocket, Coca-Cola. You got a lot of them that do it. Somebody needs to get this kid, because Ralph, it's not out of the realm of possibility. This kid does what he does last year for one of these white colleges to come and try to get it.
He'll be gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
You're saying it in a nice way, but if barring an injury or something, and they turn the season around, and he has an outstanding season, they're going to try to come in.
They're going to try to come and get him somebody.
So you have to try to hook them up with the right people.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to hook them up. I mean, it's the way they do business now.
It's the way they do business. I told his dad that I was going to take a gun and come to Corpus Christi and put it to his head if he let his son leave. I said, we've been waiting 25 years for a quarterback like this.
You got to go way back
to have one like this.
Right. Yeah. See, so, and I've watched all these great quarterbacks come through TSU over the years, even back to David Mays, Charles Green, John Douglas, and all those kind of Carzin, and all those kind of people.
Yeah, I came in with Larry Foster.
And then you go to Larry Foster with David Mays. But then the quarterback that everybody seems to forget is Gardner Montgomery. Gardner Montgomery.
Montego.
Yeah. He was Randall Cunningham, in my opinion.
Me too.
Yeah, okay. So
tall guy can throw that rock 60 yards and get running.
Right. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I feel like there's no need, and I know TSU can't get involved, but as I've told his circle of people, be proactive. Don't wait for somebody. Sometimes they don't know. They don't know. Just go to Frenchie's and say, hey, I'm the quarterback. I'm the one that's 4-time player of the month, a week.
Right. Go to Shell Oil.
Shell Oil or somewhere.
One of these people. The way gasoline prices are, I'll try any oil company.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So I feel like this kid just needs to have it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to go off into family. One more time, we're still doing HBCU because I got this guy here, the portal. What do you think about the portal?
Well, hey, some people say it's destructive, but the coaches have been in it for years. They've been able to
Thank
go
you.
where they want to go.
Where they want to go.
Yeah. So now, some of us have always said that if the coaches can do it, the players should have that same right. So
I'm one of them.
I'm for it, but I think also you have to create people being loyal to you. You have to make them want to be part of what you're doing. Would a kid want to leave back in the day, or say today, if you had Eddie Robinson around, would you want to leave after a year or so? Or like now you have Dion. Are you going to leave Coach Prime like Travis Hunter?
Right.
Okay, he has an outstanding season as a freshman. Would he leave Coach Prime and go to USC or Alabama or somewhere? So you have to make it where they want to be part of what you're doing. But I'm glad they have that right to jump around.
I think Coach Prime, once they get there, they're not going anywhere.
No, I don't.
And that's what Coach Prime said on the national broadcast. He said his first mistake when they let Travis Hunter come to my homecoming.
Right.
He said, if they come to my homecoming, they're not coming back to your school.
Right.
Get that black experience right.
Right.
And Jackson State got 66,000 in the stands. And the guy, he says, Travis Hunter looked up and saw all the black folks. He never seen that before.
No, never seen that. No. See, that's why some of us, like this year, you've got TSU playing in Lincoln University in California on the campus.
Right.
For the homecoming game. My theory on that is, and you being a TSU product, why not Grambling or Jackson State?
Right.
Downtown.
You
could, can you imagine having, like you talking about all these kids coming to see you play and you got 60 or 70,000, whatever the whole 50,000, 40,000, they're coming to see Coach Prime, of course, but they see you beat it.
Right.
They see Andrew Body and Clarence McKinney and company win over these people in a packed place with all those young pretties.
Right. Yeah.
So hey man, so that, but it's on them. I mean, it's the handwriting is on the wall.
Right.
Are you willing to take those chances and take your elevate your program to another level?
And one more thing on Andrew again is you were talking about watching him in the game and possibly beat him. Ralph, I don't know if you ever talked to him, but all this kid ever talked about is smack him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This kid, he used to win.
Right. But see,
he used to win.
So, but if you have a winner like that, why not treat him like a winner?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, let him go.
Yeah, let him trip. Let me give you a little tidbit on this. Grambling just added for their quarterback coaching staff, the young guy that had, last time Grambling had a good team, he was what? Kincaid from out of Dallas.
Devontae Kincaid.
Devontae Kincaid out of Dallas that went to Skyline.
And won every way he's been.
Every way he's been.
Right. He played with the, he was playing in the XFL before he went out of business. Here with the, he tried out with the team here, the Roughnecks.
The Roughnecks.
But he ended up playing with another team. I had a chance to interview him then.
Yeah.
But that's, it's good to see Grambling get some positive news also. Remember the Art Biles thing and then the other coach with some other issues. It's good to see them giving one of their own a good shot.
I want every school to do well.
Right.
Because I really think I was on Coach McKinney, and I'm going to be truthful. And when I'm wrong, I let everybody know I'm wrong. I think Coach McKinney might have turned the corner a little bit. I went out Ralph to spring practice, and we got some behemoth linemen, and we got 3 freshmen coming in that are behemoth.
Right. But that's schedule. It's a hell of a schedule.
I like it though.
Yeah, but I do too.
I like
First we started off with Bubba McDowell.
Bubba McDowell.
He doesn't want to lose.
He don't want
to. Man.
Yeah. I did a show, Ralph. If you go back and look at my 3rd episode, when Dickie left, is that his name? The coach that went to Southern University.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, not Dooley. When
he left, I said that's a bad thing for Prairie View. I said, but they got a coach right there in their backyard. I said, I told everybody on this podcast, I think he's ready. He's been doing it for 10 years.
He's been groomed the whole time.
I think he's ready, and I'll be that blasted next week at Prairie View didn't hire. Right. So I think it's a good hire.
Right, I do too.
Grambling adds a linebacker in the portal from Arizona. Valley adds an offensive lineman in the portal from North Carolina A&T. Prairie View adds UNLV defensive back Jalen Lane. I don't know if you ever heard of him because he's from Shadow Creek.
No, the name doesn't.
Okay. Then Grambling gets a Syracuse quarterback. He's a native Texan. And FAMU gets a Bowling Green offensive lineman. What I'm doing is trying to show how the transfer portal, a lot of the SWAC schools are participating now. We didn't do it, but at first I was a little upset. Then I went out to practice. And I even talked with Andrew, the quarterback, and he said, we're going to be good, Mr. Bro. He said, we're going to be good. He said, let them get all the transfer portal people they want. He said, bro, we building up continuity over here.
And then graduated.
Yeah, and that's what we graduate people. He said, they got a wide receiver coming out from West Mesquite. Yeah. It ain't going to be nothing nice. Okay. 6'2". Yeah. I haven't even seen him play. It's just like Andrew, I told Coach Kennedy sitting across from me last year at this time, in August. I said, I haven't even seen Andrew play. Yeah. I played quarterback in high school. I was pretty good. I was an honorary All-State and All Central Texas. And when I read that kid with 42 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, ran for 1,500 yards, I said, Coach, we've been waiting on this. And that's when he said something about, we got this up. No. You got to do like the coach at Seattle did when he got Russell Wilson. They had just paid Green Kid like $10 million to come from the Rams to there. But in practice in the summer, he saw what's name. He said, "Oh no, you got to go because we're not gonna have."
We made a mistake.
We made a mistake. This is our quarterback. So, but he finally saw the light. He finally saw the light, and I think I'm just so excited, man. And Jackson State stays on the portal. Yeah. But I had someone tell me, see, Jackson State is going to create a problem. They feel, and you tell me what you think about this, Ralph, because they're getting all these transfer portals and they're giving scholarships to these freshmen. Somebody got to go. So they got to drop some people. What do you think about that?
Well, you're going to have to drop some people. And the freshmen are the ones that seemingly are being hurt right now.
They're going to be hurt.
But if you're in the football business, and that's what they're in. See, they're in the business of educating people first. But if you're in the football business, educating people first comes first. But winning football games is second on that list, and that's what they're there for. But the thing I like what Dion did, also Coach Brown did, he turned down the money game. Those big money games. Yeah. Like FAMU has to play North Carolina during the season. That could be devastating to your program if you get some people hurt.
He doesn't mind playing another white college like a DFCB, like University of Louisiana Monroe, which they should have beat last year. They made turnovers. They should have beat them. He said, those are the schools we want to play.
Yeah, they got Campbell College or Campbell University.
Right. He said, I want to go to Florida State, get my brains beat out.
And the team beat up.
And I got to play FAMU next week.
So it's they're in a great position.
Yeah, great position. And you were talking about TSU schedule, Ralph.
Yes.
I think we can beat Prairie View. North Texas lost a lot of players.
Right.
And if we can beat Prairie View, we're going to be on such a high.
Right.
And I know we can beat Southern.
Right. But see, 4 games open the season on the road. See, I still don't like the Southern game being played in Arlington, but it should have been played. That was another one that you could use locally. See, they're worried about what happens, maybe away from it. But if you want to get into the Shadow Creeks and the Manvilles and the Cadies and even in the HISD schools, you want to put your brand on them. Play those big games here and let them see what you. When they
let them come to the stadium and if it's not packed, it's 3/4.
Don't let them come to a game where no one is there.
But 200 people, right?
That's what happened last year. They had kids at the game and maybe 500 people at the game. No, let them come to the game where you've got the big crowds and the history and the bands battling each other.
Right. And so Jackson State got a kid from Tennessee, defensive line. They got a kid from Angelo State. That's a monster, 6'7", 330-pound offensive lineman. But one more time, family, I feel good about TSU. And it's funny that it took a kid to calm me down and tell me, don't worry about this road. He said, we ain't getting a whole bunch of transfer portal, but they got a 6,000-7,000 offensive line. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Where y'all get him?
But what I would like to see, what I see, as a guy who has opponents, the head coaches, the defense, or the offensive coordinators can't sleep the night before a game.
Right.
They need some monsters on defense.
On defense.
They need a Ernie Holmes,
Right.
Julius Adams,
Julius
Michael
Adams.
Strahan, and all these kind of people.
Mhm. Larry Snyder.
That's what they need right now. If
all
you can find one of those
Right.
to keep these people up, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Now what we're doing here also is, we go down to the next one. We just about there. Now we're gonna cover a topic of yours which we halfway did.
Okay.
Baseball.
Yes.
What do you think about the Pena kid shortstop and replacing? I think so far it's turned out to be a great move.
Well, Enos Cabell, who works for the Astros, the former Astros, one day he said that when they were going through the Correa thing, Carlos Correa and the money, he made this comment and he said, "Ralph, have you seen the Pena kid?" And I said, "Yeah, the one out at Sugar Land." He said, "What do you think?" I said, "He had power. He can hit. He probably has more power than Correa, and he's a good pick. He can play." And he's happy to be here.
Right.
And he has
that contract is like that.
Yeah, and it's a good fit for them in regards to what you was getting out of Carlos, who had been injured over the last few years.
Right. I think he's done a great job.
Yeah.
I think
Justin, you're right now.
Yeah. Yes. You think Justin has is he about 70% of himself?
Well, look at what he's been doing. He's been messing with 2 or 3 no-hitters.
Yeah.
He's been coming, and at some point he's going to get one.
Yeah.
A no-hitter.
Yeah. Now, this is lefty. Framberg, is that his name?
Framberg.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good too.
Yeah, they've got a real good team. Plus the other thing they have, and Dusty Baker's indicated, they like playing. He likes coaching them. They love the game, and they want to win. And you got a good mixture of young and old there. And it's, with the Michael Brandons, Jose Altuve is not a youngster anymore.
Right.
So you've got a real good mixture there. Now the next one is, what do they do? Can they keep Kyle Tucker?
Can they keep him? Yeah, he's the next one.
And will Gurriel start hitting again?
Yeah.
And you got the big Cuban under contract.
Yeah.
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
What number does he wear? You don't know anything about
him. He run out of town. They don't give him a contract.
And he wears that number 44. You know what that stands for? Reggie Jackson, Willie McCovey. You heard of these people. Willie McCovey, Reggie Jackson. And Hank Aaron. How can you imagine we got a guy wearing that number?
Shoot, what are you talking about? Baseball, what are your picks? I'm going to tell you what mine are. It looks like, to me, the Dodgers and Yankees are on the collision course, with possibly the Astros stepping over there. Because they got the Yankees number.
Yeah.
They got the Yankees spooked when they play the Astros.
Right. I'm going with the Astros. And
who they playing? The Yankees?
Yeah, the Yankees.
That's what I'm
right
saying.
now you got to go with the Yankees.
Yeah,
and Aaron Judge and company, they're doing well.
Yeah. And what you think about the Dodgers over West? I don't see no competition for them other than who I got
themselves. Other than the manager messing up.
Right, that's the only thing. Because I can't even find anybody.
Right. Dave Roberts has another pitcher the no-hitter. You think he'll pull the game? Put him out of the game.
This one, he could get fired for that.
I know people are still talking about it. He did it twice.
He didn't get fired for that.
Right.
Okay, and then we got NBA. You got Golden State?
Yeah.
Now, tonight or
I had Golden State when they started the playoffs.
In 7?
Yeah, but earlier I will admit I had Milwaukee. Earlier.
Well, when the season started, I had possibly Miami, and with me being a Laker fan, I was tripping, thinking the Lakers might do something.
Right.
And then I had Phoenix.
Right. Yeah, that's the other team.
I had Phoenix.
Yeah,
but I got Boston tonight. Family. The day is June the 15th, Wednesday.
Right.
Golden State is playing Boston, 6th game of the series in Boston. So I got Boston winning tonight with Golden State winning in 7. How you have it, Ralph?
I have the same pick. Golden State in 7. So for that to happen, Golden State would have to lose to Boston in Game 6.
Okay. One last tidbit before we get out of here. NFL.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson. How long do you think the NFL is going to suspend it?
Well, they keep more and more women keep coming. At first, I thought it would be 6 games.
Right.
And I kind of think that it may be more than that.
I'm thinking half the season.
Yeah, because who would have thought it would? They thought it was over.
Right.
When he landed in Cleveland, I think they thought it was over. But now you got attorney Tony Busby. They they come. The buzzard has them coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's a serious thing in regards to what really happened. But he says, Deshaun Watson says he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't force anybody to do anything. But you have to wonder how could he allow himself to get caught up
Get
with
caught up in that.
it?
Such a nice kid.
Yeah,
Such a nice kid. Intelligent kid.
66 different women and maybe more.
Yeah.
And he's been around guys like Ali and Evander Holyfield and a host of others who had people massaging and numbers.
None of those things.
Yeah.
None of those things.
You know, but then some other things may have happened, but not.
Yeah, they didn't come out.
Yeah,
If you're gonna do it, go to the massage.
Right.
Right there, no, that does that. Does those things.
Right. Certified masseuse.
Right.
And let them work on it.
Let them work on. You don't go to just the any masseuse and that like you don't know what their mindset is, and the next thing you know, you on TV like you are now.
Right.
Well, this show has gone by so fast that I got to have Mr. Cooper back. Hopefully he can find time to be able to see us and again, family. But as I always tell you guys, the football season is getting ready to come up. And I want to make sure everybody that's attended a HBCU or have family members that have, go out and support the school. The teams and the schools need your support. So Ralph, I appreciate you coming to the show.
I'll be back. When I come back, I want to talk about Clifford Paul. You don't know anything about Clifford Paul.
Man, you know, when we were talking about kids leaving a minute ago, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
And you was like, well, they might come back and get the kid. But if Clifford Paul was there,
we got to bring it back.
University of Houston have to worry about him getting to have his ball.
State of Texas would be talking about.
Oh, because that man can, I don't know what he said, but family, and I got to get out of here, family, Texas Southern, when I was there, it was #1 draft choice and walk around campus everywhere.
Yeah.
And so Clifford Paul, I wouldn't put anything past him. So with that in mind, family, I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Peace out.